And then, which Fred didn't do it. And this is not a traditional piece of king cake because this came from my daughter's cheer party. So normally it's decorated in purple, green, and gold. But those who are watching, I'll
I
try to get it
failed.
up there. You
Sorry.
can see, yes, the nice little piece of king cake that we have that I'm going to sit here and smell and really try not to eat.
Listen, let me tell you what. I got Randazzo king cake
Oh,
in
it's
my
my
house right now.
favorite.
Is it? I'll bring you
Oh,
some. My
I love Randozas.
I have a coworker. He works in Gulfport, and he drove. He got up stupid early, got there at 5 a.m. on Thursday, so he could stand in line because his office had never had Randazzo's king cake.
Oh,
And
wow.
we were talking about it on the phone. I was like, bro, like, grab me a Randazzo's because I haven't had it yet. And I still am a
Oh, it
big
was your
Dong
first
Fong
time?
fan. Yeah, it's my first Randazzo's.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I love, I don't know, Randazzo's is my favorite. Like, no matter what, if I am trying to diet or I'm trying to eat better and somebody comes by with Randazzo's, I'm all about it. I'm going to eat it. It's so good.
What is up, and welcome back to another episode of Going Beyond the Castle. My name is Fred Briley, and I am your host. And with me, as always, is my fabulous co-host, Lori Talamo. And I'm super excited to be here today, especially excited to be live on TikTok for the first time. So we are experimenting with going live on TikTok. So just bear with us as we kind of figure some things out. For example, I just found out that I can't invite my co-host along to the podcast yet because we haven't been live enough time, so we're still figuring this out. So definitely thanks for joining us. I think we're on episode 16 now?
17.
17?
Let me see.
So I think we're on 17.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's been a fun adventure. Definitely thanks to everybody that has tagged along with us over the past couple months on Going Beyond the Castle. We have grown quite a bit, and our TikTok is currently the one where we're really thriving at. So we'll dive into some ways later that you guys can follow along with us on our journey. But yeah, super excited to be back tonight. We are talking being in New Orleans. We figured what a better way to start out February than to start by talking Mardi Gras, right? Because it is that time of year. There is king cake everywhere. There's parades everywhere. And luckily, if you don't live in New Orleans, there's one other place that you can experience Mardi Gras, and that's at Universal. So super excited to dive into Mardi Gras season at Universal. I will say, if you are following along on TikTok with us, one of the things that you can do is, if you guys want to also chime in elsewhere, you can head over to our Beacons channel, beacons.ai/going beyond the castle. And you can see all of the places that we're currently live. We're currently live on our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, and our Twitch page, where you can see both Lori and I. And there won't be awkward moments of silence where we listen to Lori talk. So, so before we dive in, are there any announcements this week?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, right when you clicked over, if you wanted me to go through some, just a few things that are coming up. So we'll start with Disney since we're going to talk Universal tonight. So for all of the Muppet 3D fans and Pizza Rizzo, you may want to head on over there before the summer because those two are going to officially close on June 7th. So I'm pretty sure that I will hit up the Muppets when I go this week, just one last time to visit. And then also
Pizza Rizzo, like, it sucks that it's closing because it's one of the decent Hollywood studio spots where you can get, quick service meal and kind of sit down. They've got a lot of indoor seating. They've got some super nice outdoor seating. Like, really, it's not the best pizza in the world, don't get me wrong, but Pizza Rizzo really is, it's a really good quick service spot at, Hollywood Studios, which, as we've talked a lot before, I don't personally feel there's a lot of good quick service meals at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, I haven't eaten there. Is that the place where it used to be not Pizza Planet, but whatever was the Toy Story?
That was probably pre-Disney Me. If it was before 2018, that was pre-Me Disney.
Yeah, we went one time and there was I can't remember what it's called now. Then I'm thinking about it. But yeah, we haven't had that one.
It's good. I really like Pizza Rizzo. We ate there the past 2 times we went.
Maybe I'll try that too when we
You
go.
should.
Since
I recommend it. Like I said, it's got a really good indoor
yeah,
vibe to it, really good pizzeria feeling. So I would definitely check it out.
yeah, and then also, which was kind of controversial for a while, the Mama Melrose is also closing on
Yep.
May 10th, a little bit earlier. Um, so if you're a Mama Melrose fan, get on over to Hollywood Studios. But I'm excited for the changes. So I know some things are going away, but I think it'll be good once we get the new things that are coming.
Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
yeah. And then also, if you are a Flower and Garden Festival fan, they just released the Garden Rocks concert lineup. So that festival runs March 5th through June 2nd. So you can go and check out the concert lineup and see if some of your favorites are going to be there. Then heading on over to Universal for a few announcements. The new Stella Nova Resort is now open. So curious to see, some real life photos of that one
Yeah,
and how
it
that
looks
one
really cool.
it
Stella Nova
does.
Resort really does look super cool.
Yeah, if I have extra time, I thought about maybe when we go this week, if we had some extra time, maybe just even, taking a drive over there just to kind of check it out. So we'll see. We have a lot of cheer stuff, so we'll see if we have some time. And then Universal, I think we might have touched on it briefly that they've already kind of put out all of their event dates. So they have a butterbeer season over at Universal, which runs March 1st through
Sign
May
me up.
31st.
Sign me
Yeah, I
up.
kind of wish it was
I had to wear
happening
my
when I was
Hogwarts
going.
shirt today for Universal.
Awesome. I went Mardi Gras.
There you go.
Although you can't see all the colors. They release Halloween Horror Nights. It's going to be August 29th through November 2nd, which we can't purchase those tickets yet, but as soon as we can, we'll let you guys know. And then holidays at Universal will run from November 21st through December 31st of this year. So lots of fun stuff announced for
Yeah. Um,
yeah.
yeah, lots of big stuff coming for Universal. So it's going to be super cool.
Yeah. All right, be ready to hit the ground running and talk Mardi Gras?
I think so. I think I got to step away for a second, but I'm going to let you hit the first segment and I should be back in like 30 seconds.
Sure.
Okay, cool.
All right, I'll talk to myself. So being from New Orleans, I thought it was super neat to kind of dive in and talk a little bit about, I had to get the right sheet of notes up here. Mardi Gras 101, just to give a little explanation about what Mardi Gras is. I'm sure probably everyone has heard of Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras started in New Orleans area around the 1700s. There's some different dates out there. Essentially, 1718 was the first instance of Mardi Gras. The first recorded Mardi Gras parade in New Orleans was around 1837. One of my sheets says 57. 1837. And of course, it has expanded throughout the years. So now the traditional Mardi Gras is not what it was when it first started out. And there's also a lot of controversy between New Orleans and Mobile as to where Mardi Gras really initiated at. And in some of the research that I was doing shows that maybe Mobile might have had Mardi Gras first. So don't shoot the messenger.
I've actually
But
heard that. I've actually heard
yeah,
that that Mardi Gras didn't actually start in New Orleans. We just kind of took credit for it.
yeah, that's the big controversy between, Mobile and Mardi Gras. However, I would venture to say that New Orleans Mardi Gras is probably pretty big. So even if we didn't start it, maybe we have the better one. I don't know. I haven't been to Mardi Gras in Mobile. Some of the iconic traditions for Mardi Gras, of course, are the colors, the purple, green, and gold. And this is pretty interesting to me because I didn't notice this or know this until I just researched it. And let's see if it's true. If anybody has anything different, you can call me out on it. But supposedly the Crew of Rex was established in 1872, and that's where the colors came in. Purple is for justice, green is for faith, and gold is for power. So, yeah. And I'm not a huge Mardi Gras fan, so that's why maybe this is kind of new stuff to me. I'm not a fan of going hang out in the parades. So who knows? And then, which Fred didn't do it, and this is not a traditional piece of king cake because this came from my daughter's cheer party. So normally it's decorated in purple, green, and gold. But those who are watching, I'll
I
try to get it
failed.
up there. You
Sorry.
can see Yes, the nice little piece of king cake that we have that I'm going to sit here and smell and really try not to eat.
Listen, let me tell you what. I got Randazzo king cake
Oh,
in
it's
my
my
house right now.
favorite.
Is it? I'll bring you
Oh,
some. My
I love Randozas.
I have a coworker. He works in Gulfport, and he drove. He got up stupid early, got there at 5 a.m. on Thursday, so he could stand in line because his office had never had Randazzo's king cake.
Oh,
And
wow.
we were talking about it on the phone. I was like, bro, like grab me a Randazzo's because I haven't had it yet. And I still am a
Oh, it
big
was your
Dong
first
Fong
time?
fan. Yeah, it's my first Randazzo's.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I love, I don't know, Randazzo's is my favorite. Like, no matter what, if I am trying to diet or I'm trying to eat better and somebody comes by with Randazzo's, I'm all about it. I'm going to eat it. It's so good. And actually, three of my travel agent besties that, we really gotten close, I just shipped them all a king cake so they can experience Randazzo's too. So that was super fun watching them, give feedback on the king cake. One of the things about the king cake is there's a baby that's hidden inside. So whoever gets the king cake baby has to bring the next king cake. So that's just something fun that they do.
Which that's how you
Um,
know if you got an authentic, like good king cake, because there's a lot of places out there that'll just throw the baby in the box.
mhm,
It's it's a good king cake. There's a possibility you could choke on the baby.
right. Well, as I say, and a lot of times they put it, because people like to sue. And so I'm sure, oh, my friend Jasmine said she just tried theirs for the first time. It's so good.
Nice.
Yes, it's so good. Maybe we should bring one with us to Orlando, Jasmine. One of y'all, somebody who's driving. um, what was I going to say? Oh, um, one of the other big things for Mardi Gras is what we call throws. And that's where, from the parades, you get the beads, the coins, the balloons, trinkets, all the things that the people like to catch. The big saying is throw me something, mister. And you want to catch the beads from the plate. I mean, the plate. I'm looking at the plate of king cake. The king cake's got me sidetracked.
Uh,
From the Mardi Gras floats. And so another big thing that they do, which is happening right now, because we're actually just kicked off Mardi Gras season, I think yesterday. So leading up to that, they have, the balls, Mardi Gras balls, where these elaborate costumes, ladies get dressed up, the guys are in tux. So it's like a whole big thing here in the New Orleans area. And one of the things that is super fun is that Universal has this, festival, the Mardi Gras Festival, and it pretty much mimics what Mardi Gras is here in New Orleans. Some of the things that they do is they have parades with over-the-top floats. And a fun fact, which I think we might have talked about this one time before, is that Blaine Kern, who is very much the Mardi Gras king here in New Orleans, where all of the floats are decorated for the big parades. They actually are very involved in decorating the Mardi Gras floats for Universal. There's concerts, there's entertainment. We've gone to one of the big parades is Endymion, which we've gone to the Endymion extravaganza before, where you have like I think one year Rod Stewart was there. So it's like, very popular musicians that'll come in and sing at the balls.
yeah.
Could get the authentic Cajun food over at Universal. They try to, they'll have like the red beans and rice, king cake. They really hone in on the New Orleans theme over at Universal. We were there for 1 year for cheer. And it really did feel like I was stepping into a parade at New Orleans. The floats were magnificent. They have, the beads where you could throw. There's street performers. There's all of the same experiences that you can get at New Orleans, just in a different environment. It's family friendly.
Yeah.
It's very
Absolutely.
immersive. There are some family friendly parades here in New Orleans, but when you
Not as
go
many.
not as many. And even the family friendly ones, there are moments where it may be something where you not want to have small kids. So you can experience that at Universal. You can head in, go, you can get the rides, and then you can experience the Mardi Gras stuff that they have. And the good thing about it is that it's included with your park admission. So it's not something separate that you have to pay for to be able to attend and visit all of the Mardi Gras things over in Universal. It's just, it's authentic Mardi Gras vibes that you can get on. Um,
Yeah, and I think you mentioned some of the parades. I don't remember if you said this or if you're going to get into it. I read somewhere that all of the floats that are actually in the Mardi Gras parades at Universal are designed and built here in New Orleans.
yes, yeah.
I might have missed that part, but
No, I think we have some notes further on down
anyway,
when we get into the parades. But yeah, they actually
okay,
send
I'll
the
be
floats
quiet.
here. No, you're
I'll be
good.
quiet then.
You're good. You're good because I felt like I was distracted there, so I was jumbling up my words. But yeah, for the most part, it's very similar, just a little bit a different environment.
Yeah.
You know, you can go there and not have to worry about some of the things you may have to worry about on the streets of New Orleans.
Well, and on a side note, I think I got our TikTok audio working. I had to do some rigging of some chords, but I think both of our audio is now coming across TikTok. It's just they're seeing me and it's kind of like a delayed status. So again, just bear with us as we figure out this whole TikTok thing. But that's it's super cool to hear the history, especially because like living in New Orleans for 2.5 years. No, 2.5 years now. No, when did we move here? It's the year and a half. I'm to say that's too long. For like a year and a half, it's just I've never honestly paid attention to a lot of it, and it's super cool to hear a lot of the backstory of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can do some research on it. It started way back, in early 1700s. So it's been around for a while. It's just evolved over the years, and now we have, all the big. I mean, we even have like puppy parades,
Yeah.
and there was one yesterday called Chewbacca's. Actually, Braden and some of the One Hope folks went to, um, which is like a Star Wars themed parade. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Are we ready to talk food? I'm ready.
Always. Yep. I gave food back to you this week because
Of
I know
course.
that's your jam.
I like it. Okay. So definitely, if you know anything about New Orleans, we are all about food in New Orleans. And again, living here a year and a half, I can preach to that. We are all about the food. And one of the great things about Mardi Gras season at Universal is the food. And Laura and I were talking a little bit before the podcast, but Universal really kind of mimics Epcot and their festivals. So if you're familiar with Epcot and their festivals, you get all of these different, food stands that essentially set up throughout the park. And they have all different types of food. And so, they really bring in the New Orleans style food, the Cajun food that you're going to see, the authentic New Orleans dishes like red beans and rice, beignets, king cake. But you also get some international type cuisines throughout the park, which is really cool. And it kind of changes up, your typical eatery that you see, in Universal Studios as well as Islands of Adventure. And, they got a lot of really great places. You see Canada come in and they bring in, of course, Canada's famous for maple syrup. So, of course, they have to bring in something maple wise. Canada brings in hot maple lacquered salmon, which personally, I'm a salmon guy, love salmon. So this sounds fabulous.
That
Colombia
would be
comes in.
Josh.
Really? Josh love?
Yeah, he loves salmon. I'm not a
Oh,
salmon fan.
Rachel started cooking it more often at home, and I've really just becoming more and more a fan of salmon every time. Colombia, they bring in Colombia, and they have a Colombian burger, which has a nice little Colombian twist with a pineapple cabbage slaw and a cilantro garlic sauce, which, no thanks, I'll pass.
Yeah.
Just not me. Not me. Bites of the Bayou comes in with a nice little Cajun mac and cheese. Has a little bit of andouille sausage in there, some green bell peppers. I've heard really good things about the Cajun mac and cheese.
Sounds good.
You're going to be there next week. You should go and bring me back some Cajun mac and cheese.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we'll make our way over there, but maybe.
Yeah. You've got a lot of other good restaurants that come in, a lot of other countries that are also coming too. You got China, India, Germany comes in, Mexico, Puerto Rico. So you have a lot of these different, cultures that come in, which is crazy because you think Mardi Gras you don't really think of other countries. So one, it's a nice little change, but of course you do have the French Quarter that comes in with some fabulous New Orleanian flavors and taste of the quarter that comes in. It really brings you that gumbo, that jambalaya, all those different New Orleans drinks that you really, are gonna experience when you're in New Orleans.
Yeah, I was
You
gonna
break
say
something?
well, I think did I break something you said?
Yeah. You keep looking like you broke something.
Oh no, I'm looking at the notes and I'm like, man, I had sent the list and it looks like I took it off for some reason. All of the different drinks they offered,
Oh yeah.
and
I looked
because
at
they
some of
had
that,
like, yeah, they had like Bloody Marys, and man, I can't believe I took it off. Oh well, I was excited about the drink.
which that's something we'll have to post to our Facebook group. But, in addition to the food, they really bring in a lot of different, we'd love to drink in New Orleans. We do. Some of us, not all of us, but some of us like to drink. And they bring in a
Something.
lot of really good drinks, all different types of drinks. So there's really is like a lot you can experience food wise when you go to Universal during Mardi Gras season, which is, out of the norm for Universal and Islands of Adventure. Cause, it's been a long time since I've been to Islands of Adventure and, Universal Studios, but I feel like the food was pretty generic, like
Hmm.
theme park food. They
Yeah.
definitely had some stuff that got out there. And I'm not saying like it wasn't good food. I'm not saying, you weren't able to get some higher quality food. I just feel like a lot of it was really kind of the same style of food.
Hmm.
Uh, so
Yeah,
I
it was
really
quick
do feel
service. Yeah.
like, Mardi Gras season at, Universal brings in a different vibe to it, which is really cool. One of the
Yeah,
other
I'm really
things,
curious. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm really curious, and if anybody has tasted it, that's from here. Let me know what the gumbo tastes like, because it's
You're gonna be there in like a week.
yeah, but we're not going to Universal.
That can change.
But it's like chicken and andouille sausage with onions and celery and green bell peppers, topped with scallions. I'm not the chef of the house, but I'm pretty sure we don't put celery and green bell peppers in a gumbo.
I mean,
But
I've
I don't
never
know.
had
It
gumbo
might be
with
good.
either of those.
Yeah, we'll see.
So speaking of food, and one of the things that we'll get into that I tried to jump ahead of, which is parades. One of the cool things that Mardi Gras at Universal does have is the Mardi Gras Float Ride and Dine experience. So this is a really cool experience that you can pay for. It's like $89 per person, and this is a really cool experience uh, because I think it takes like 2 to 3 hours to do, but essentially you get the opportunity to, get on one of the floats that are actually in the parades, and you get the opportunity to, throw out the stuff that you would typically see down here in New Orleans during Mardi Gras, throwing out the
Hmm.
beads and all that different type of stuff. So you really get to participate in the parade, and then you get access to a 3-course meal at one of the select restaurants, which at Universal Studios, it's Finnegan's Bar and Grill and Lombard's Seafood Grill. At Islands of Adventure, it's Confisco Grill. And then at Universal City Walk, they have a couple different options, which is Pat O'Brien's, the Cowfish. Have we talked about the Cowfish Bar and Grill before?
Yeah,
I
I
feel
was
like
gonna
you
say
and I
I'm
have.
going for cowfish. That's where I'm going. Cowfish.
Light. Love Cowfish. That's one thing I miss about Raleigh. Living in Raleigh is the ability to go to Cowfish. You also got NBC Sports Grill and Brew and Tojitos, authentic Mexican grill, and Bob Marley, a tribute to freedom. So you get to participate in the parade, ride on the floats, live your best life for a few hours, and then you get to head over to one of those restaurants to enjoy a 3-course meal, which is, in my opinion, really great. I mean, $89 is kind of fabulous to be able to do that,
Hmm.
especially for a 3-course meal. Anywhere that you
Right.
go, you know, in the parks and especially City Walk, you sit down for a 3-course meal, you're going to pay, $50, $60 per person anyway. So
Right.
you're really only paying like 20, 30 extra bucks to hop on a parade and get to throw beads at people's faces. Like,
Sure,
sign
that's
me
not
up.
the intention, but
It is. And then when I do it,
yeah, I'm going to cowfish and I'm getting the calamari and the burger for sure. So
I wish
good.
they would build a Cowfish down here, but there's only 2. One at Universal, one in Raleigh, North Carolina. I made that
Oh
up. I don't
wow.
know if there's only two, but
Oh.
that's the only two places I've ever heard of them being. We found out about them because you've been to our house. We have a giant empty saltwater fish tank, but we used to have gorgeous saltwater fish. Um, and we were watching the show, and I can't remember what the name of the show was. Tanked. That sounds familiar. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but the whole point of the show was they would go build these miraculous fish tanks for these
Yeah.
places, and one of the places that they did it for was cowfish. And we saw that
Oh
there was
wow.
one in Raleigh, and we were like, have to go. And I mean, the thing is massive. Is there one? Have you been to the one in Orlando?
Mm-hmm.
Do they
The
have a
cowfish?
massive? Yeah, do they have a massive fish tank in there, or is it just the Raleigh one?
Pretty sure they do. I know Josh is watching. He remembers better than me.
Josh, help us out here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a fish tank in there.
So yeah, really great opportunity to participate in the parade as well as get some really great food. Another option that they have is the Universal Orlando Resort food and beverage card. This is a really great offer because it saves you $10 on meals because essentially you're paying $65. You're getting $75 worth of food that you can use throughout the park during the Universal Mardi Gras international flavors of the carnival. So it's a
Yep.
limited time thing. So you definitely want to make sure that you get on it if you're going anytime soon. And then not food related, but also worth talking about is the Legends of the Bayou Mardi Gras tribute store. You're going to see a lot of really great Mardi Gras merchandise in there. And it's just, of course, Universal is really good about, having themed merchandise as it is. Um,
Yeah, it's super cool. I watched a little YouTube video. I don't know if you watched it.
uh,
Because there's not a whole lot on Universal's site. It really just takes you to a lot of YouTube videos, but it actually walks you through the different sections that they have. And oh gosh, now I just forgot what it's not like a Yeti, but there's some big thing. And I'm like, is that what they think about New Orleans?
uh,
Now I'm gonna have to I'll go look it up.
yeah,
But
I'm
yeah,
curious.
it was pretty cool.
So yeah,
Um,
lots of good food options when it comes to, Mardi Gras season at Universal. I really feel like they kind of go above and beyond about setting you up with different options to choose from inside the park and outside the parks.
yeah,
It's not as good as
definitely.
Disney, but that's personal opinion. And it's Universal night, so I'll keep my opinions to
Mm. Oh, I don't want to open it because it's gonna open the loud video. But I'm trying to see what it looks. You remember that movie Harry and the Hendersons?
Did it come out
Are
from
you
before I was born?
all right, Fred? I'm not that. Shoot. Okay, so anybody who knows Harry and the Hendersons, whatever that thing is, that's what they have. That it looks like in a tribute store. That I think is super funny, but I can't find it now. So anyway, go check out Harry and the Hendersons, and then you'll
Well,
see what I'm talking about.
tomorrow me thing. I'm going to bed as soon as this podcast is over.
Yeah, I would like to go to bed, but I have to braid my daughter's hair because she needs her hair braided for 6 in the morning, and we won't be able to do it at 6.
There you go.
So we're gonna braid it and hope she can sleep on it very well. Sweet.
All right, let's talk parades.
All right. Yes, yes, parades. Um, so when you think about the parades, just think. I think maybe the only thing they don't have that we have here is like the marching bands in the parades.
Yeah.
Um, but they do an amazing job with the floats. Like when we were there for Olivia's 8th grade trip, we were looking at the floats and I'm like, gosh, I'm like, these floats really look amazing. And then there was a sign on one of them that said Blaine Kern. And I'm like, no wonder, they're made here in New Orleans. I think is pretty neat is they have 6 floats that they rotate each year. So like last year's, they have 12 floats altogether. But 6 of the floats from last year, they just kind of recycle those same floats. And then the other 6 get like a new theming is from what I was reading earlier. And so they send those 6 floats over to New Orleans. They come here and they get like the big, whatever the character or statues are, they'll get those put on here in Mardi Gras World. And then they go back to Orlando. And then once they make their way back to Universal, that's where they get decorated with all the glitter and the the beads and the rest of the design of the float. But they have a team of, I think, 11, they said, that is on the design team. And so they come up with a new theme for the parades every year. And then the floats are kind of designed around the theme. And we've already kind of talked about it a bit with the package, but it's super fun. The girls actually were invited to ride on the float when we were there that year. Some of them did, some didn't. So that was super fun. That's like a whole new experience because let me tell you, when you come to New Orleans, if you want to ride on a parade, it is not cheap.
Nope.
It's very expensive. Even just the dues to get on the float and then to buy all of the throws that we call, it's very expensive. So if you can get on one of the floats at Universal, how fun is that? Especially for kids. You know, we talk about a lot of times how Universal doesn't have a lot of stuff for the smaller kids. So that would be something fun. There are some restrictions. So if you decide to do it, you'll have to kind of read the restrictions and make sure that you're aligned with, you know, what they have set up. It is a limited number of spots. They do have, and Universal doesn't have like the virtual lines for any of their rides anymore. But during Mardi Gras, they do have the virtual line experience in the app where you can apply to get a reservation to be on the float, as well as the dining plan.
Interesting.
So, yeah, so a couple of ways that you can get on the float. And if for some reason you don't make it on, you still go and watch, you know, and enjoy the parade. It's still just as fun, I'm sure. Some of the other things that are pretty neat is kind of what's in line with the Epcot festivals is the live concert series that they have. So on select nights starting in February, and this, I think, did I miss it? Mardi Gras parade. I mean, the Mardi Gras season is from February 1st.
I think it was
where did I
right
put
up
it?
here. 30th.
March 30th. Yeah. So during that time, there's a different lineup for the concert series. So you can go and check out the list and see, you know, where your favorite performers are and, you know, who you'd like to go see. Some of the top ones that and I don't know all of these people. I'm just going to be honest. So I may say the name wrong. Let me know. T-Pain. Don't know who that is. I'm so bad with.
Oh,
so a lot of times
God.
I'll say that, and Josh is like, "You know who it is."
You have
like
to
without
know who
telling me a
T-Pain
song.
is. You have to.
Maybe
Next Sunday we're
ask.
talking at church. We're gonna start listening to some music at church. We're gonna roll in and listen to T-Pain.
There you go. I know who Joe Jonas is. I know who Kool and the Gang is.
There you go.
Because that's back from my day. Gosh, I don't even know how to say this name. Jawayne's. Is that right?
I have no idea. I don't know who that is.
No, who that is. Scotty McCreery. I know who that is. Foster the People. Don't know. Millennium. Don't
There
know.
you go. I don't know.
I said it right. All Time Low. Don't know. Lawrence. Don't know. Coco Jones. Don't know. Keep going.
So you know
DJ
like
Pauly.
3 people.
I know TLC. That's back from my day too.
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah. No, but I know a lot of folks, you know, it's fun because maybe these are some entertainers that you wouldn't normally get to see.
Right.
So, you know, can't remember who was there when we went. It was one of the famous female singers like Patti LaBelle or something like that. And I know like that was like one of the top ones to get. So super fun. Because here in New Orleans, there's going to be concerts outside, along with the parades, you know, the festival. It's just so much fun to do. It's almost like a street fair, kind of similar. So, but the big thing is the Mardi Gras parades, and to make sure that you're seated in a good spot and get to check out the parade. What else? I think that's pretty much mostly what we could say about the parades and the entertainment. It's extra. And again, it's all included in your park admission. So you don't have to, to pay anything extra. It's all included.
I guess we could talk planning a visit.
Yeah.
Now that we are, started up yesterday?
Yes. February 1st. So it's not too late. You could still get there.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's a lot of things to take into consideration, when planning a Universal trip. They've got a couple resorts. We always recommend, whether you're going to Universal, whether you're going to Disney, whether it be Disneyland, Disney World, wherever you're going, we always recommend staying on-site hotels. Typically, your on-site hotels are going to offer you a bunch of really good extra perks. One of the great perks is, all of the Universal resorts offer you early admission into the parks. So for those not staying on site, you've got, early access before the rest of those people. If you're staying at one of the higher end resorts, we definitely recommend that. As somebody who has stayed at one of the higher end resorts, I definitely think it's worth spending the money solely for the express pass. We stayed at, a Hard Rock hotel the last time that we went, and we got the express pass, and we did a Friday, parks on Saturday, Sunday, drive back Monday, and we were able to ride everything in both parks twice before dinner. So, that express pass really does save a lot of time. So, looking specifically at Mardi Gras time, Lowe's, Royal Pacific, and Hard Rock Hotel are really some great higher end resorts that are going to include that express pass. If you're looking for more budget friendly type, but with some really great amenities, Cabana Bay and Aventura Hotel are also some really great places. So again, always recommend staying on resort if possible. And one of the other
Absolutely.
really great
Yeah.
things about the higher end resorts for me personally, those closer in resorts, it's a quick 5-minute walk to the parks, or there's a ferry that goes up and down the river that'll take you there. So really great options to be right there close to the parks, and you don't even need any transportation.
Yeah. And we actually, when we went in October, when we were staying at Aventura, it was like a quick walk over to Royal Pacific. So we
Yeah.
walked over from Aventura to Royal Pacific and then caught the ferry there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know, and I'm sure we've talked about it before too. A lot of folks are like, oh, I'm going to save money and stay off site. And, if your budget
Yeah.
absolutely makes you, however, the, like dockside and surfside,
Yeah. Yeah.
those are a lot of times are comparable to the offsite
Yeah. Absolutely.
hotels. So if you can stay in one of the ones that was mentioned, stay in dockside or surfside, and you're still on site, you still get the transportation. You're right there. You get the early park admission. It's well worth it because I've seen the lines, and if you haven't seen them, go take just
Oh,
Google park entry times at Universal and just see the massive amount of people that are waiting to get in,
yeah.
that don't have the
Absolutely.
early park entrance. So it's definitely worth it,
Yeah.
especially if you got a short trip.
So yeah, definitely stay on site if possible. Of course, as always, you really want to try to, plan out what days you're going to go. Always recommend looking at crowd calendars if possible. But, if you're going to do that, I had a client reach out to me today, and she sent me the Walt Disney World crowd calendar for this year, and was like, should we move our trip? And it's like, there's no way to tell. Like,
Right.
that
Yeah.
those things take guesstimated data from, attendance the past couple of years. So it's really hard to tell, but they can give you a good idea about what you should look for and when you should plan to attend. Of course, weekdays are always the best. Always recommend visiting Orlando locations during the week, solely
Hmm.
because on those weekends, those locals, the people with those annual passes, they love to get out and visit.
Yep.
So
On the
during the week,
weekends.
yeah, during the week is really when you want to hit it. Um,
Yeah.
but of course, a lot of your popular artists, a lot of your more popular things typically
Gotta
tend
be
to
on the
occur
weekend.
on the weekend, just
Yeah.
because that's when they know they're going to get most of their people. So, you really just got to plan out and, expect busyness. But if you can, Monday through Thursday, really is a great time to go visit the
Yeah.
parks.
Yeah, and if you can help it, don't recommend visiting during Mardi Gras week. If it happens to
Facts
fall
on Fat
at the
Tuesday.
same time, yes, as New Orleans, we've done it a couple of times, and it's so packed, especially if
Yeah.
it falls on President's Day week as well. That's like
Yep.
double whammy. I mean, of course, if it's the only time I could go, I'm going. But if you have time to, within the time frame of the festival, try to plan it around those two events because it's going to be a little more crowded than typical.
I always tell my clients, if kids are out of school, don't go.
Right.
Like if you can avoid, if kids are going to be out of school for holidays, anything like that, just don't go because, those long weekends are really when people love to load up the car and go down for a quick weekend and come on back.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hate the question when someone asks. Not that I hate that people ask me the question, but about the crowd calendars, because it's like you feel so. Because I'm straight up. I'm like, look, this is what it's saying. However, this is just a
Yeah.
prediction.
Yeah.
Like, don't kill me if you get there and you're like, oh, you said it was moderate and it is crazy busy.
Those crowd
You
calendars
know,
really
it's
haven't been accurate. Like attendance, like at the parks, Universal and Disney has not been the same post COVID. Like
yeah,
the what
no,
we know as park attendants, which this could be a whole episode in itself, but what we used to know in regards to park attendance has changed and it's constantly changing. Like it's just so hard
yeah,
to tell. Your best bet, if again, kids are out of school, plan on it to be busy. If it's a holiday, plan on it to be busy. If it's the middle of September and it's during the school year, you're probably going to have a good chance of crowds being low.
yeah, yeah. I think it was Shelley that might have said it. Pack your patience.
Yeah,
Somebody on the
it was
yeah,
Shelly.
and so definitely best advice is pack your patience. And I have clients that are going, and she's kind of overwhelmed. She's actually just booked last week, and they're going Thursday. And I'm like, if you go in and with the expectation that, you know what, I'm going to do what I can do and not expect to do everything, then
Yeah.
you'll be fine. Just go in, just like whatever I get to do is
Yeah.
it's going to be amazing.
Which, and last thing I'll say before we move on, so we can stay on time. I saw a Facebook post today in one of the Disney groups that I'm in, and it was this mom, and she was posting about how everybody was telling her, like, expect the worst lines, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be so busy, all the dance competitions, blah, blah, blah. Like, everybody was like, move your trip. And she showed up and she posted and she was like, we had the best time ever. Crowds weren't bad at all. So really you can't go off of expectations of what we know from the past. Like it's
No,
different every year.
yeah. And I guess because I'm a cheer mom, that it frustrates me when I'm in those groups and I see people like, oh, there's cheerleaders everywhere.
You all are too busy
Well,
doing cheer and dance stuff.
yes. Now, I can tell you the value resorts are going to be packed with
Yeah.
cheerleaders. They're going to be out in the grass
Yep.
cheering and, you know,
Practicing and
um, and practicing. But they're not in the parks. They're there to work. Like
yeah.
my daughter gets one day at the park
It
and
just so
she's
happens
there.
to be at Disney. Like that's it.
Right. Yeah. She's there from Friday to Wednesday and they get one day in the park. So it's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah, for sure.
anyway, that's my
Okay.
soapbox.
Yes. We both had a soapbox on this one. Next one is, of course, arrive early and prioritize your attractions, right? So um, definitely if you're staying on resort, take advantage of that early entry. That gives, it's a free, perk for staying on site. So definitely take advantage of it. And, one of the things that I always recommend, you know, again, talking Disney, I booked a client today. And one of the things I told him was download the Disney app and start looking at the rides that you're going to want to do. Start planning that
Hmm.
out because you've got, I think he's going in 7 months, 8 months, 8 months.
Yeah. So plenty of
Um,
time to kind of.
but yeah, so he's got eight
Yeah.
months. And I was like, download the app and start looking now. Look at all of the rides throughout the park, figure out what you want to do, watch videos on them. And the same thing could be said about the Universal app. Like before you go, start looking at the rides that you're going to want to do. There's definitely some rides that are
Hmm.
going to be more popular than the others. And you're going to want to prioritize those. And, especially if you have early entry, knock those out first thing. Just go straight to it.
Yeah.
Next one is definitely secure a good parade spot. I'm a big fan of this one. You can ask Matt from our trip to, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. I have my parade spot and, Universal is the same, has some really good parade spots that you can, get to. And there's not going to be it's still going to be crowded, but if you get there early, it's going to be a great spot.
Get you a spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some other spots that, are a little bit further away. But it's going to clear out much quicker.
Yeah. For sure.
Excuse me. But yeah, definitely some of these spots are going to fill up 45 to 60 minutes before the parade even starts. So you definitely want to get there ahead of time, grab a snack, grab a drink, go sit
Yeah.
down,
Go sit
chill,
down.
look
Yep.
at your phone, chill out. Some great spots for the New York area near the Tribute Store has a really great parade experience. Hollywood Boulevard is going to be great for, lower crowds. And then near Mel's Drive-In is a really great spot. For one, it offers a great view, and then two, it clears out pretty quickly. so you can go
Get
get
on those
access to
rides.
some of the great rides that are in that area.
Yeah.
Um,
Pretty sure I ate at Mel's Drive-In once.
I don't think we have. But yeah, you definitely, if parade is important to you, you definitely want to prioritize getting there, getting it a good spot, and just camp out. Like I
Yeah.
enjoy the downtime. Like you definitely need some downtime in the parks. It doesn't always need to be go, go, go. So
Right.
definitely enjoy that downtime. Um, and then the last thing, I already mentioned it, but the Universal app is fabulous. Um, definitely download the Universal app. It's got great things to keep you up to date, such as parade times, concert times, ride wait times, food locations. It's a really great app to help you have a successful trip to Universal. So again, make sure you download this app well before you go. Start using the app to research, and it'll really set you up for success. So yeah,
Yeah.
lots of tips for planning your trip. Really not.
Yeah.
It's
And if
not that many tips. It's just we talk a lot.
right, we do. And if it's not something that you're ready to do for this year, obviously, because it's happening now, be prepared for next year. Check out as soon as the dates are released. Work in your trip, get your vacation on the calendar,
Yeah.
and and make a go at it and experience Mardi Gras at Universal.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Well, I think that about wraps it up for us. Before I turn it over to you to close this out, again, shout out to everybody that is following along with us on Facebook, on YouTube, Twitch, our TikTok fans. Really appreciate you guys. We had a lot of people hop in and out of the live stream tonight. Bear with us. Apparently, we have to go live 3 times before I can invite somebody on as a guest. So, we're still trying to figure this out, but hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll be able to invite Lori on and actually have both of us on the screen. So that way, we're not, piggybacking off of my computer for audio. So again, thanks for all the followers. We would not be where we are at Going Beyond the Castle without you guys. So we really appreciate you guys. So yeah, Lori, I'll turn it over to you to finish this out.
Sure. So our next episode, again, because somebody's team is playing in the Super Bowl. So instead of recording, or gosh, I wish I would have had a video of that. I'm gonna have to make that. Yes. Well, I don't know how to access it, but you'll have to make that into a reel.
Oh, it will be.
Even if it's a blooper one.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Sweet. Yeah. So we're actually going to go live again on Wednesday instead of Sunday. Well, and it's good for me too, because I'll be in Orlando for a cheer competition. And we are talking our top 5 restaurants.
I'm ready
so
for
we're
this
going
one.
Food. Yes. I'm like, gosh, people are going to get sick of me because I always talk about my favorite restaurants, but we'll be able to dig in a little bit more, than just throwing out the names out there. We'll talk about what we like about them. And
well, 1, we're from New Orleans. Like, we got to talk food. 2, we got a lot of other really great episodes coming up that we're kind of, going to get away from the food aspect. So super excited for those future episodes that will kind of, sadly transition away from my favorite topic and talk about some other things other than food. So yeah.
No, it'll be fun. I just meant, like, I say the same. You probably can guess them.
Absolutely.
Yak and Yeti, but we're going to dive deeper into them. So we'll get a little bit more details on that. So that'll be this coming Wednesday. Yeah. And I'm super excited. I did tell Josh the other day, I'm like, oh, by the way, February 23rd. I don't know if you broke the news yet. So, okay. I was like, be ready.
I got to tell Rachel.
So, yeah. So we're doing a couples quiz. Something. I don't know. We'll have to figure out what it is. Yeah, but it'll be fun.
Luckily, I have a great co-host that plans episodes.
Yeah. Well, the co-host needs to plan the notes a little bit sooner.
That's fine.
This was a busy week.
It was.
Yeah. But it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to the stuff we have planned for the rest of this month. So we are, as Fred said, and look, I know I say this all the time. I'm very appreciative. Fred is the tech person behind all of our avenues that we're getting this out there. So we really appreciate you guys following along and joining us. It's been fun. I can't wait from a year from now to see how we've grown and what's going on. So we appreciate you guys. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our followers.
Yeah,
So we love
absolutely.
having everyone. If you're looking for information about the show, you want a vacation quote, you can visit us at www.goingbeyondthecastle.com. To connect with us on our social media, to listen to our podcast, to stay up to date with all things Disney, Universal, cruising, all the fun things that we like to talk about. You can check us out on our Beacons page at beacons.ai/going beyond the castle. And lastly, if you want to reach out to us for any reason, if you want to connect with Fred or I, want to send out a request for a vacation quote, or one thing we've been asking, we would love to get some input on things that you want to hear about, some topics that you would like for us to have on the show, or if you want to be a guest on the show. We love doing interviews. I think those are some of my favorite episodes when we get to, dive in and talk to some folks about their experiences. To do that, you can reach us at info@goingbeyondthecastle.com. And that is a wrap for today. We appreciate you guys joining us again, and we'll see y'all Wednesday.
We'll talk to y'all Wednesday.
Woo-woo.
Thank you for joining us on this magical journey. We hope today's episode brought a little extra spark to your day and inspired your next adventure. Whether it's a thrilling escape to Universal, a dream cruise getaway, or unforgettable memories at Disney. Have questions? A topic you'd like us to cover? Your own magical story to share, or looking for travel assistance? We'd love to hear from you. Drop us a line at info@goingbeyondthecastle.com. Be sure to check out all our social media links and podcast platforms at beacons.ai/Going Beyond the Castle podcast. And don't miss the fun in our Facebook group, Going Beyond the Castle Podcast Lounge, where we share tips, updates, and behind-the-scenes moments. Until next time, see you real soon.